Awesome, Mark. Hey, man, good morning. How you doing, bud?
Doing good. Thanks for your time today.
Of course. Thank you for getting up early. Not exactly rock star hours, but we get to talk about the brand new album. And I imagine that March 1st is probably something you've been anticipating for a while, huh?
Yeah, it's really exciting. We've put a couple songs out early, and the feedback's been awesome. The response has been great. So I'm just really excited for everybody to hear the whole project.
Yeah, and this is something you've been working on for a long time. When did you decide, hey, I want to, put some of this stuff off and get it into an album, and then the process of, finding somebody to do the vocals on these?
Yeah, it kind of evolved. It really started with me just writing songs as I do, and having some songs come up that really didn't fit into the framework of my main band, Lamb of God, which is more of a thrash metal band. So some of the stuff I was writing was turning out to be pretty rock, kind of straightforward, some of it kind of bluesy. So as those songs started to collect, I just played it for my producer, and he agreed it was worth developing some of that stuff, and we kind of started from there and ended up with creating the Anesthetic album just as a destination for that stuff.
Did you ever once, Mark, say to yourself, you know what, I'm gonna try to sing. I'm going to see if I can't write some lyrics. I'm going to try to do this. Or was it always in your mind to have some guest vocalists put this thing together with you?
Well, actually, I do sing lead on one song on the album called Imaginary Days. And as far as lyrics, I've written lyrics over the years for Lamb of God quite a bit. So I'm sort of pretty accustomed to writing lyrics to music that I've written or helped write. So I did a fair amount of that on this project as well, but not for the whole thing. Lyrically, some of the songs were co-writes. Some of them were written by the folks who sang them. Some of them I wrote the whole thing and had someone else sing it. So it's just kind of all over the place.
I wonder behind the scenes, Mark, just when, you're obviously very prolific when it comes to writing music and, like you said, lyrics and parts of guitars and everything like that. Do you have a voice in your head when you're writing these songs? And I'm wondering, when you hear somebody else, we'll take example Cross Off and Chester, when you hear their vocals on it, is it kind of match what your expectations were, or how does that work exactly when you're writing music in that style?
Yeah, so it depends what for. With Lamb of God, when I'm writing, helping write lyrics to music that I helped create, I know Randy's going to sing it, so I can sort of write with Randy's vocal in mind. On this project, it was a little different. So I would write, Josh and I would put the songs together structurally, musically, instrumentally, and then kind of sit back and listen to imagine who we could hear singing the song and who we thought would best fit the vibe of the song. And then once we had a name or two, we would go and pursue those people. So you asked specifically about Chester. I didn't really know if we could even get Chester's attention. I didn't know Chester Bennington before we started working on music together. I certainly knew of him and was a fan of his voice like the rest of the world, but I didn't know him personally. So when, reaching out to them, I didn't really know what to expect. But once we got involved and started, working on the tune together, I was just excited to be, working with him at that level and that capacity. And, of course, you hear his performance. I mean, that speaks for itself. It's just he blew everybody away.
Mark Morton joins us. He of Lamb of God got a brand new project called Anesthetic. It's coming out on March 1st. You can buy the CD. And now you're also planning a tour in March as well to take this show kind of on the road and do it live. How do you vision this project coming to life for a live audience?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to recreate the album exactly just because there are so many guests on it. So what we've done is we put together a traveling band that will feature some of the folks that are on the album. And then there will be guests along the way in different cities. When people can make it, they'll show up and do their thing as well. So it should be fun.
You had mentioned Josh Wilbur. You guys have worked together for, forever with Lamb of God. Was it nice to kind of get him onto a different project and out of the Lamb of God world and work together with him on something that maybe is sonically a little bit different than that?
It was, yeah. And we've done that before. We've kind of worked together a little, at least, my role was a little more behind the scenes with some other bands that Josh was working with. So we do kind of have that experience of working outside of Lamb of God a little bit, but this was another chance to do that. And it's great working with Josh. We've worked with him for some time as Lamb of God and me outside of it. And not only is he just a world-class producer and engineer, he's one of my best friends. So we have a really I talk to Josh whether we're working on a project or not. So when we do get into the studio and we do get into the lab, so to speak, it's a pretty easy rhythm that we fall right back into.
Have you been having a lot of fun doing this, Mark? I mean, a little different role, I think, front and center for the most part, with doing all the interviews and stuff like that, and hyping everybody up for the album release. Is it a little different position to be in than you might normally be in Lamb of God?
Yeah, for sure, it really is. I have been having fun with it, but it's also been a learning experience. I've done a lot. Lamb of God has had a long career. We've been very successful. We're still in full swing. And I thought that I knew a lot about making albums and promoting albums and all that kind of thing. And I did, but I knew that in the context of being a member of the band, right? With this project, it does kind of, there's a different level of commitment, and you can't just say, no, have Randy do that one. You know what I mean? I'm not complaining, because I'm so grateful to be in this position that people care to talk to me about my music and want to take a chance to take the time to listen to it. That means the world to me. But it is a sort of a different vibe when it's a solo project. So I'm enjoying the learning process for sure.
Anesthetic comes out on March 1st. As we established, it wasn't exactly something that you worked on overnight, and now it's out. It took you a while. So now that this finished product is happening, is it like one of those deals where you can go, I could see myself doing this again, or is it like, thank you very much, that was fine, I'm good?
No, I really enjoyed doing it. It was such a positive experience for me, and came at a good time in my life, personally, to have something like this to work on. So, no, I would welcome the opportunity to do it again. Just maybe not right away. Let's get this one out on March 1st, and then we'll see what the future holds.
Awesome, man. Well, we're looking forward to the full CD for sure on March 1st. And then, of course, you got the live dates in March as well, which is pretty awesome. But Cross Off Screaming up the charts, we're playing the hell out of it here. Big fan of it. So thank you very much for the time, Mark. We appreciate it, man.
Hey, thanks for your time and support. I appreciate it.
You bet, Mark. Thanks.
Take care.